Hey, if you're an Xbox user, this is rage bait. Apparently, I got a screenshot of a thumbnail of a YouTube video that said some YouTubers are saying Xbox is dead, including just for clicks, including myself, including me. They are rage baiting you. Shout out to Dachi for putting this out here. And I was laughing because I was like, man, he didn't have to say the quiet part out loud. And, you know, you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that even though you can say that that's the case for some, we can't say it's for all. Why? Because it's hard for you to determine motive unless somebody explicitly says it or they prove to be, dishonest and show that their motive was to be deceitful. Those are the only two, or I guess I'll say two possibilities that you can use to assess, their motives. However, there are a few, folk where we can look at their content. We can look at what it is that they're doing and say, okay, is what they're saying actually based on sound analysis? Is it based on reality? And when we take a very good look, can we determine this for ourselves? I got a video from SpawnWave. I haven't watched too much of SpawnWave's content, but when I look at the, landscape for content creators, it's not hard to look and see someone and say, okay, maybe their assessment is fair.
Yeah,
maybe
this
the
is
criticism is actually, missing something. So I want to listen to SpawnWave's video that says this is it for Xbox 8 hours ago. And I want to see what it is that he has to say and why he concludes that this is it for Xbox. Okay, so join me as we listen to this.
Yeah, this is it for Xbox. It's finally happened. The last domino has fallen, and there's been so much speculation as to when this was going to happen. And apparently it was just a Friday afternoon news dump and trailer drop and gameplay impressions and the PlayStation logo. That's what it took for Halo to make the jump. And this is a big deal in gaming, and it's something that I feel the need to reflect on in a video after.
No, it's not. Hey, you, me, SpawnWave, and a lot of other people our age, we are relics in gaming. We need to, first of all, understand and know our place. And I've been trying to resound to y'all that game companies never have cared about you. Once this reality is embraced and we use it as a framework and as a foundation for our conversations, things are going to be very different at the end of the day. You see, back in 2016, Xbox already started to make the jump, not just with the PlayStation logo, but with the Steam logo. Okay, so those of you who want to go ahead and, make the logo be a big deal, I submit to you that there was another logo that was also just as triggering as well. But, this was not even the only logo that was triggering, to be very honest with you. Another logo that was also triggering was the Windows logo. If you guys can remember, based on a chart that I made, I did make you guys a chart. I don't know if you guys have seen the chart. I made a chart, but I've never published a chart like the calendar that I published. The calendar was needing to be published so that everybody could see. But this chart, I tell you, it's quite magnificent. Don't worry, I'll pull it up for you guys here. It shows the console war death timeline. When one company had already pretty much packed up its luggage and said, we're no longer going to be doing this, right? This shows you what's going on and who responded and who reacted, right? So let me go ahead and refresh your memory with the death timeline of the console war before we get any further into SpawnWave's video. Around 2015, after looking at the numbers of Xbox consoles sold, I almost coughed in laughter because PlayStation was using double backhand, headbutt, spinning kick, shoulder bodying, all kinds of moves to knock Xbox in the console sales market. In fact, as of 2015, 2017, one of those years, just throw it out there. In fact, let's go look at this. So let's do PlayStation console sales data. They publish this. This is actually, it's public information. PlayStation puts it out there. It's their pride and joy, right? But in the Xbox One days, let me go back and see. So FY 2015, 2016, around here, right? PlayStation sold in 2 consecutive years 17.7 million units and 20 million units. The following year, 19 million units. As of this particular period, Xbox was selling close to 20 million, while PlayStation was pretty much almost quadrupling the number of consoles, almost, it ended up being more of a tripling and more of their console sales. This is where the timeline makes sense. So once I show you this, and then I fire up the timeline saying Xbox getting bodied in 2015, it makes sense. So 2016, they go day and date. The console war for Xbox is dead. They capitulated to Steam. Well, apparently I was corrected by some audience members, and they said, actually, no. Quantum Break, which is the game that they put first, was actually put on the Windows Store. It wasn't even, it was a Windows version of the game that was first put out there, and I think a Steam version at the same time. So it wasn't necessarily to Steam. It was more of a capitulation to PC overall, if we want to be technical. And in that particular paradigm, a Xbox fan that you can call, what's the name of this Xbox fan? You can call him the Crap Gamer 100% American. I took a screenshot just to make sure that everybody could see, was quite upset with Xbox in their approach, and he went back and forth with Phil Spencer, complaining about canceling his Quantum Break pre-order. So Spawnwave, I'm trying to go back to see if my perception of the history is actually quite there, because as he did that, there were people who talked him down from it. There were people who were on his side. There was already a divide. But he was not ready to pay attention to the prevailing data that Xbox was getting flambéed in the console war. You know what I mean? And so, again, if you guys are, in my opinion, curious enough, you'll find the information out there. So if Spawnwave is coming to you with some, it's finally over, Spawnwave is literally 9 years late. Does that make sense? The sentiment here is a 9-year-old sentiment. In fact, you can feel it. Let's go ahead and now play it with that context so that you can listen for yourself.
And gameplay impressions and the PlayStation logo. That's what it took for Halo to make the jump. And this is a big deal in gaming, and it's something that I feel the need to reflect on in a video after 24 years of directly connecting Master Chief to the Xbox, the green brand.
No, Spawnwave, and I'm going to stop the video here. I tried Princess Peaches. The gaming conversation is malnourished of information. There is no need for me to sit there and listen to something that you, me, and everybody else already knows is not accurate. Why? Because when I go to Steam, which is the second team that the first team blew, that Xbox capitulated to, not PlayStation, by putting their games on there, we'll see that Halo has not been connected to the green box for at least over half a decade. How do I know? Well, I can simply go check, but let me go ahead and even do you a solid. Let me go ahead and just make this thing so palatable for you. 2019, of the top grossing games on Steam that year was a very interesting title that would probably make that whole video something that you just need to watch for entertainment. And this was when Xbox was actually doing some serious work in the Steam ecosystem. Where is that? Where are you at? There you are. In the gold category, if everybody would look to me on the first section here with Jedi Fallen Order, The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then what is this, ladies and gentlemen? Halo. Halo Master Chief Collection was one of the top-selling games on Steam. It wasn't just a game on Steam. It was one of the best-selling games on Steam based on Steam's categorization of the top 100 games as measured by gross revenue for that given year. Again, don't blame me as to why I closed that video and saved me and you and a lot of us time. Peace out.